Talking about here on my channel right now. It's all about Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively's.
And buckle your seatbelts because today's Corvanta ride ain't a quiet one. I'm sitting here with a pile of stories that could choke a horse, and every single one of them feels like it came straight out of some wild, messy Netflix docuseries that hasn't even been pitched yet. The internet woke up swinging today, TikTok fired the first shot, celebrities jumped in like they always do, the Justice Department got dragged in, political drama is boiling over on every channel, and the courts are working overtime like someone hit the turbo switch. It's one of those days where you can't blink, because if you blink, you miss 3 scandals and a half-cooked conspiracy theory. So let's get into this mess one breath at a time. First up, the TikTok circus. Yes, again. A creator has been banned. Again. And this time they're accusing him of impersonating, wait for it, himself. That's right. Not a celebrity, not some random actor, not a politician. Himself. I swear TikTok's moderation team must be pulling rules out of a hat at this point, because this whole thing smells like rotten leftovers. And the plot twist? This involves Ryan Reynolds and Justin Baldoni. Because apparently no drama in 2025 can exist without at least one A-list celebrity being dragged into it. And the guy's not staying quiet either. He's now shouting that he's suing TikTok, that someone behind the curtain wants him off the app for good. And the whole thing has that familiar, this is about to blow up bigger than it should have vibe. But before we dive too deep into that pit, let's keep rolling, because the Justice for Clayton community has fresh updates too. Former attorney Laura Owens, or should I say former lawyer hanging by a thread, is sinking fast. The state bar is after her, the walls are closing in, and she's facing heat from every direction. And while she's sitting there insisting she's innocent, everyone with eyes can see that she's one bad hearing away from losing her career, her reputation, and maybe even her freedom. Word on the street is a plea deal is coming. Fast. The court wants this done. The prosecutors want this done. Even the cops are probably tired of hearing her name. Will she accept it? I wouldn't bet a broken pencil on it. She's stubborn, delusional, and constantly doubling down when she should be pleading for mercy. But we'll circle back to her, because trust me, that story is far from over. Now, swing the camera back to the TikTok creator at the center of this week's viral meltdown. Be better. Yeah, the same guy who's been ranting about Baldoni for months, the same guy people mocked, doubted, dismissed as clout-chasing, paranoid, or just bored. He vanished from TikTok back in June, no explanation, no goodbye, nothing. Everyone assumed he quit, burnt out, or got bored. But now he's back, and he's not back quiet. He says he's got some massive story about Ryan Reynolds. He says Blake Lively isn't guilty of anything except battling Baldoni. And he says TikTok is intentionally shutting him down to stop the story. Not just limiting him, banning him, permanently, twice. He made a second account, Marco Spitz, grabbed 160,000 followers in a blink, dropped a second video, and boom, gone. Deleted. Wiped. And the reason TikTok gave him? Impersonation. And he's sitting there waving the ban message like a flag saying, you guys, you cannot make this up. They banned me again for posting my second video. Time to finally sue TikTok. So he sends out this warning video, and it hits hard. And sweet and salty Lynn, who's been covering all of this like she's the reporter TikTok doesn't deserve, breaks down exactly what he said. She reads the message, she reacts, and she basically tells Ryan and Blake, congratulations, because if your goal was to look guilty, you nailed it. Nothing makes a story explode faster than trying to kill it. And then comes the part that turned the internet upside down. He claims he's already shared all the information he has with multiple people, both digitally and physically. The kill switch. Basically, if something happens to me or my account, the story still comes out. And you can feel the tension even through the video. The man is either telling the truth, or he's the greatest actor TikTok has ever seen. Is it possible TikTok banned him for some boring, automated, glitchy reason? Sure. TikTok bans people for breathing wrong. I got flagged for a harmless video once, a Candace Owens clip, and TikTok acted like I committed a felony. They're inconsistent, trigger-happy, and brutal with their moderation. But this timing, this speed, this claim that Ryan Reynolds is somehow connected, this is why the whole platform is buzzing. Maybe he's lying. Maybe he's exaggerating. Maybe he's right. But banning him for impersonation when he's clearly posting as himself? Yeah. That's messy. And people smell smoke. And don't forget, Ryan Reynolds does have partnerships with TikTok. They sponsor the Wrexham team ads. Does that mean anything? I don't know. But the internet sure thinks it does. The Streisand effect is in full swing. Remove a man's account and suddenly everyone wants to know what secret he had. It's like telling people, don't think about a pink elephant. Congratulations, that's all they think about now. And everyone who clowned him, mocked him, said he was delusional. Now they're thinking twice. Because months ago he said Ryan Reynolds was after his account and people laughed it off. Then the 107 subpoena story came out. Then more pieces started lining up. And now TikTok itself pulls the trigger on another ban.
I don't think I relate to any of my characters. I've played
this is
a
not how you
crack
do
addict
it.
from Boston.
But before we
I've
dive
played an
deeper,
Upper
Blake
East
Lively
Side
enters the chat.
princess.
Not directly through paparazzi photos. Because while all this drama is brewing, she's out here getting photographed at Trader Joe's with her cart full of Thanksgiving groceries. Big smile, cozy coat, casual as ever. And of course the paparazzi just happened to be there catching the perfect angle at checkout. And the article mentions her $6 million home, her 4 kids not being with her, how glamorous she looked, what snacks she bought. Like someone copy-pasted a PR playbook. It's the oldest page in celebrity crisis management. Flood the internet with harmless fluff to bury the messy stuff. Blake shops for pomegranate seeds. Yeah. Because when you Google her name, her legal drama shouldn't be the first thing popping up. Innocent photo ops, fake lifestyle stories, and SEO boosting articles. Classic distraction. But the thing is, people aren't stupid. They see it. They know when a celebrity is trying to smokescreen something. Some folks joke that the camera angle makes it look like the photographer was hiding in the freezer aisle with a zoom lens. Maybe Blake called the paparazzi herself. Maybe she didn't. Doesn't matter. The timing speaks for itself. And while the world is busy arguing about pajamas at the airport, yes, apparently the transportation secretary thinks America can fix its airport chaos by banning yoga pants. The real chaos is unfolding everywhere else. He wants people to dress nicer so airports feel more respectful. Meanwhile, the real problem is $13 French fries, body scanners, toddlers screaming, seats shrinking every year, and airlines treating passengers like cargo. Nobody's throwing punches because someone wore pajamas. People fight because they're exhausted, cramped, stressed, and shoved like sardines for hours. But let's slide into the biggest political explosion of the morning, Senator Mark Kelly. Astronaut.
Combat vétéran.
American icon. And apparently the latest target of Trump's fury. Trump wants him charged. The Justice Department is actually considering looking into him. And Mark Kelly didn't hold back. He fired back with a post listing every mission, every medal, every sacrifice he's made. He's basically saying, I've put my life on the line for this country more times than you can imagine. You want to call me a criminal? And he's not wrong. He's flown in space. He's flown in war. He's risked his life more times than Trump risked breaking a nail. And now people want to pull him back into the military just so they can court-martial him? It's ludicrous. And watching the public react, it's wild. People who normally disagree on everything suddenly agree that going after an astronaut is insane. Another senator, Ruben Gallego, literally recorded a furious response from his car saying this is fascism, plain and simple. He didn't sugarcoat anything. He said the threats are insane, the intimidation is insane, and Mark Kelly is a patriot who doesn't deserve to be attacked for reminding service members they don't have to obey illegal orders. And the crazy thing? He's right. Everything feels like it's cracking open at once. Republicans are resigning early. Marjorie Taylor Greene walked out. More might follow. And if just a few resignations happen, Democrats instantly take control of the House before November even hits. The Speaker loses his gavel. The majority flips. It's like watching Jenga pieces collapse in real time. But pause that because the justice for Clayton story is heating up again. David Gingries, Laura Owen's former attorney, is in deep water. The state bar says there is probable cause to charge him with 6 counts of misconduct. The man who threatened people, who acted like a bully, who said horses would graze on someone's property. He's finally facing consequences. And honestly, about time. He tried intimidation. He tried threats. He tried everything to silence people. But the justice system moves with receipts, not vibes. And the receipts are stacked. And then the Laura Owens case, simply unbelievable. 14 felonies. Medical fraud. Lies. Restraining orders against men who didn't deserve it. Fabricated stories. Manipulation. Her lawyer might lose his license. Her stories are falling apart. And now the state is preparing a plea deal. If she takes it, she admits guilt. If she refuses, the trial becomes a public demolition of her entire narrative. And honestly, she's the type to refuse. She's the type to drag everyone down with her. She's been lying for so long she probably believes her own stories. But the truth doesn't care about feelings. And the prosecutors don't care about excuses. They want facts. And the facts bury her. The night Lashari disappeared from the group chat felt like a crack running straight through the foundation of everything they had built. And the fallout wasn't slow, it wasn't patient. It just exploded the way truth always explodes when too many lies are fighting to stay alive. Blake walked around her kitchen with that restless energy she always carried when she knew she'd lost control of a narrative. Her phone buzzing every few seconds as her PR team fed her half updates, half panics, and Ryan watched her with that familiar mix of protectiveness and quiet fear because even he could sense this wasn't the normal kind of issue. This wasn't the usual influencer talking nonsense type scandal. This was Lashari, someone who had seen everything, heard everything, and kept the receipts nobody even realized he had collected. Selena texted first, asking if Blake had said anything to him, and Blake ignored the message like it was smoke she could wave away. But it wasn't smoke anymore. It was fire building under the floorboards. Because Lashari wasn't just angry, he was hurt, and hurt people never walk away quietly, especially not the way he left, with a silence that felt louder than a threat. Taylor entered the chat next, the one person who could say anything to Blake without her pretending not to hear it, and even Taylor wrote, "This feels wrong." He wouldn't go offline unless something really pushed him. Blake replied with her usual cold clarity. He crossed a line. I warned him, but even she didn't sound convinced by her own words. Ryan kept walking in and out of the room, debating whether to intervene, whether to stay out of the storm, whether to let Blake handle it the way she always handled things, with perfect control wrapped around imperfect emotions. He took his phone, scrolled through old messages from Lashari, the jokes, the late-night voice notes, the brainstorming for videos, the moments Ryan actually smiled because Lashari had a way of saying the most chaotic things with the most innocent delivery. But that was exactly why this situation scared him. If someone like Lashari, who loved their circle like family, suddenly vanished without a word, then whatever he was feeling went far deeper than a misunderstanding. Meanwhile, Lashari sat in a dim room, phone face down, replaying every conversation, every moment he had brushed off a comment or a tone from Blake, because he didn't want to believe she could treat him like someone disposable. And the more he replayed, the more the weight settled in. It wasn't one incident. It wasn't one argument. It was the way they used him for ideas without credit, the way his loyalty was an expectation, not an appreciation, the way Blake would praise him in private but erase him in public, the way Ryan would laugh at his jokes but never defend him when Blake snapped at him. He realized he had been orbiting their world like a moon trying to imitate a star. And then he remembered the final incident, the one Blake thought he was too naive to catch. The private conversation. The one he wasn't supposed to overhear. The one where Blake said, "We can't let him post that. He doesn't understand how this works. He'll ruin everything." And Ryan replied, tired and honest, "He's not a kid. He's part of this." And Blake said, sharp enough to cut, "Not in the way we are." Those words didn't just sting. They carved into him. He realized something else too. Blake had power he didn't even understand. Connections stronger than a simple block button, reach wider than a PR email chain. If she wanted someone gone from a platform, she could make it happen with one call, one message, one whispered threat disguised as concern for fan safety or misinformation. And when Lashari's TikTok account suddenly showed warnings he never triggered, strikes he never received, and restrictions he didn't even understand, he finally saw the picture without the pretty filters. Blake wasn't scared of him, but she was scared of what he could say. Back in her house, Blake's calm started cracking. The more hours passed without Lashari returning, the more nervous she became. PR teams don't panic for small reasons, but hers wasn't breathing normally anymore. They kept asking if he had saved conversations, if he had backups, if he had videos and drafts, if he had voice notes that could be twisted into a narrative she couldn't control. She kept pacing until even Ryan told her to stop, because the floor was starting to make that soft, creaking sound under her sharp footsteps. Taylor called her, and Blake declined twice before picking up. "Blake," Taylor said, her voice low, serious. "Not in superstar mode, but in friend mode. Tell me what happened. Not the PR version. The real version." Blake hated when someone cornered her with the truth, because she could fight lies. But truth had a way of sitting on her tongue with weight she couldn't swallow. She finally confessed. He found something. Something he shouldn't have. Taylor froze. Found what? Blake didn't answer immediately, which said more than any explanation. Ryan sat across the room, listening, rubbing the back of his neck, knowing the moment the truth was out, their world would never be as quiet as before. Because Lashari had stumbled upon something that wasn't meant for anyone, not even him, to see. The fallout began before anyone said a word publicly. Selena posted a vague Instagram story that fans immediately connected to the situation. Justin Baldoni dropped a cryptic tweet people assumed was about Ryan's behavior. Paparazzi camped outside their house because someone leaked that tension was high. And Blake's management demanded she stay off all platforms until they knew exactly what Lashari had. But here was the real twist. Lashari didn't want revenge. He wanted acknowledgement. A single apology would have stopped everything. But Blake didn't apologize. She strategized. Ryan tried to calm her, tried to say they could fix this, but Blake snapped. "He's making me look like a villain." Ryan responded, surprisingly firm. "You're acting like one." Blake froze. Ryan rarely raised his voice at her, rarely questioned her decisions, rarely stood between her and her control. But something about this situation had pushed even him to the edge. Meanwhile, Lashari began drafting a video. Not messy, not dramatic, not exposing for clout, just honest, a video explaining how he was treated, how the dynamic changed, how fame makes people rewrite history, how small voices get silenced when they stop saying yes. He didn't name names. He didn't villainize. He didn't drag anyone. But sometimes the truth doesn't need drama. It only needs clarity. TikTok refused to let him upload it 0.3 times. Even after trimming it, changing the sound, changing the lighting. That's when he realized someone really had pulled strings. Someone who didn't want his voice reaching anyone. Blake's panic grew when she received a text from someone she hadn't spoken to in months. A Hollywood name big enough to scare even her. Saying, "Fix this. If he speaks, you're not the only one going down." Ryan saw her hands tremble for the first time in years. Blake wasn't scared of Lashari. She was scared of what he had accidentally uncovered, and what exposing it would reveal about people far above her pay grade.